Wait, I don't. Wait, let me see. We good. Wait, let me see. I need to go up in this screen, right? Let me see. We good now? This is good for now, right?
Yep.
Thinking. Oh wait. Wee. That one sweet me.
You know it's true.
Me gonna lie. That one is sweet me.
It goes for a lot of
Sit here in the
people.
cool.
A lot of
Listen,
people,
when
a
you
lot
start
of
to
them
think
have
about it, right? It is
lot of
true.
weed.
Oh Jesus. Yeah. With the,
And you know who else?
what we do? Listen, no, because you don't know husband. Listen.
That's why they hate us. That's why
You gonna get me in trouble. You gonna get me.
the off air.
You gonna get me out of trouble.
I get myself in trouble. So that's what I'm
Yeah.
just my troublesome party.
Exactly as I please. Let's see. A political enemy. I can't run my life for me. I gonna eat life. I need to clear up the stuff from last week. Go ahead and email. No way.
Oh, yeah.
Wait,
Yeah.
wait, let me see. Yeah, that was last week. Wait, let me find it too. I can re-forward it. Nobody gonna run me from where you come from. Nobody gonna run me that.
Nobody go run me. Nobody go run me that. Nobody go run me. Me woman was yam. Me cooper was yam. Me woman was yam. Me cooper was
Good
yam.
morning. Okay, look at here. Wait, let me see. Oh Jesus. You know how?
Hi, you're tuned in to Just Jamila. You know the
It was
rules.
an
I talk
MP.
about what I want to talk about
Yeah, I sent it
until
to
you
you.
call to change the
Right
subject.
now?
So
I
call
said I have forwarded it last week.
0390.
Okay, let me forward it again. I forwarded it to you on the 16th. I just sent it back.
To me, 'cause I'm Just Jamila.
And then young people dance together, yeah? So Josh, so check the Josh one. Check the Josh one first.
Yeah.
You can I can start talking. Well, gender behind it, we figuring it out. Good morning. No, we ain't done yet.
Okay.
Good morning, and it's a beautiful Saturday, although it's overcast and a little bit rainy and a little bit nippy. It's a little bit cold, Jen.
A little, yes.
It was a little bit cold, you know. I felt the need to wear a jacket. But it is Saturday, January 22nd. If you guys are just tuning in, you're at 9:70 a.m. on your radio dial. My absolute favorite place for you to listen to me to, or listen to me at, or you are at wstxradio.com.
Yeah, when you're ready.
Or yes, okay, good, yes, okay, cool. To the person who just texted me, yay, okay, yay. So or you're listening to me at wstxradio.com, or you're following me for this live broadcast, and it's only live on Facebook, and when it's over, it's over. So if you want to see a replay, you have to like, subscribe, and follow, please, the Just Jamila on YouTube. And today's the 24th. Oh Lord, why say that? What today is? Today the 22nd. Oh wow! Thank you, Anne. Good morning. It is the 24th day of January. Why? I don't know why it said January 22nd. I'm so sorry. Thank you, Anne. Okay, so good morning, Anne. Oh, good morning, VI Comics. How are you? So I have with me today my bag that I thought my boyfriends from, or my girlfriends, because I don't know if there's boys or girls over at VI Comics. And he tell me he didn't buy it for me, but he tell me he gonna buy me a Jen, what kind of shot the comic book page that they buy me? The placeman, the name I can't say.
Oh,
The one by Watapania Mall.
oh.
The one that'll have the shoes and all the thing.
Yeah,
DPM, that one there. Yes. And I still waiting. And I tell him I want a size small because I gonna be skinny. So, but I'm here and I am loved, I am blessed, I am favored, I am mighty, I'm beautiful, I am victorious, I am wonderful. I have that purse. I have no idea who sent this to me. Whoever you are, I'm eternally grateful. It's so cute. And I did not realize. So for those of you listening on the radio, my favorite place, it's like a general color says tan, cream, taupe, beige. Yeah, I get an idea, right? That kind of color. And they have words on it, and it's like a big I am, and then the words loved, blessed, favored, mighty, beautiful, victorious, wonderful. They're like smaller on the side. And I use this bag. Those of you on the interweb, let me move this. Can y'all see? Yeah, right. So I use this bag to work, and you know, my handy dandy assistant Jamaris told me, you know, it's reversible. And I was like, it's what? And so, yeah, and it turns, you could turn it inside out, and the other side is blue. But I like this side showing. So whoever it is, clearly you listened to me because you found me. You know, and they found me because it came to the legislature for me, you know. So whoever it is, I just want to say thank you. I appreciate it. And I like it a lot, you know, and I'm wearing it. So, you know, somebody says, suppose they poison it. I was like, oh, God, really? We don't go to the negative. I appreciate it. All gifts. And my birthday is February 8th. So let me just do a shameless plug. I like all gifts. I like all bags. My comic book people sending me, and maybe I'll get my my t-shirt by my birthday. All right. So good morning to everybody. Thank you guys for tuning in. I have lots of things to talk about this morning. But before I start, I want to say I have a new favorite. Y'all know I have a bunch of favorites, but I have a new favorite. And I want to thank two people because yesterday I got really mad, y'all. I got really mad. I went to work, right? And I'm working. And there was a hearing yesterday in the legislature on the election system. And, you know, there were people who came to listen in St. Croix, in the chambers. The meeting was actually being held in St. Thomas, but there was a small group of people who came to the actual chambers in St. Croix because they were in support of Bill number 36 at 0187, which ended up being held in committee for further amendments. But I was there working. There was two senators, and I was on the floor working. And when you walk, you have to talk. And for some reason, and let me just explain to you guys, if you come to the legislature to witness a hearing, a session, the floor is where work is conducted. So we're in a library where you have to be quiet, you know, even when you're in session, you try to be as quiet as possible, but people talk during session because it's a moving, living organization where things are being done. And you can't come in the building and expect that the staffers who are working and bringing information to senators, questions that people may have called into the office to say, can you ask it, give this to your senator to ask on the floor? You have to have a discussion. So I walk in, maybe I am not a good whisperer, but the meeting is in St. Thomas. So all of the mics on St. Croix typically aren't on unless you're recognized. So in St. Croix, you know, you can't hear, the mics for St. Croix isn't hooked up because it's being broadcast out of St. Thomas. And I then minding my business and doing my work, and somebody in the audience was shushing me. Tell them, don't shush me. Don't tell me to be quiet and all of that. They're trying to hear. If you want to hear it, then stay home and listen to it. That if you don't want to be interrupted and you want the volume up so you can hear every single word, that is why it's broadcast on radio 91.9 FM. And that is why the legislature have their channel on VIA. You can watch it. And the legislature has a Facebook page, and the legislature have a YouTube channel. But what you're not going to do is come to where I does work and tell me I'm supposed to work because you're trying to listen to what's going on in St. Thomas. If you want to know what's going on in St. Thomas when the people were speaking in St. Thomas, then you either need to stay home or catch a flight to St. Thomas. And you would have heard other people walking as well, and you can't tell nobody shush And I was a little bit irritated by our sergeant at arms, but I understand his position. And told David Clark, I ain't afraid you. I ain't afraid you. The last time I checked, you and my father, you can't tell me to shut up. My father can't tell me to shut up. Okay, so I understand yourself. When you come to the legislature, the staffers are working. The only people who's supposed to be quiet is Aya who come to visit, not us. So they have a lot of people who just think they could come and tell you things and chop off and y'all could be political about me because I don't care. Take a number and get to the back of the line. I have a long list of people who don't like me. But what you're not going to do between the hours of 8 and 5 when I get to my job doing my work is come in there and think you're going to disrespect me and handle me how you want to handle people. I can handle who I want to handle, how I want to handle them. But y'all can't handle me how I think I could want to handle me because I just get stupidity very quickly. I don't care what it is. You ain't disrespecting me. So if you want quiet, stay in house and watch it. And I went outside to go. He walked out and I went outside, but he had done gun and I had on cute heels, so I couldn't go after it because I want to know what your problem is. I mean, chopsing your teeth after me and telling me you crazy? No, man. And you could talk about me all you want to talk about me because I don't talk about me anyways. I don't care. But I'm going to tell you, and for the greater listening audience, when you come to the legislature, people are actually working. Contrary to how y'all want to make the public believe, people are actually be doing work. And you have to talk to do work sometimes. Okay. I good. Hi, Ilma. How are you guys doing? No, people need to know. And then, my people from Frederickstead been there. Good folks, my peoples was there. Yeah. And so let me just tell the audience, when y'all come to the legislature to observe, because that's what you're coming to do, observe, or you're coming to testify, people actually doing work. You're gonna have people going in and out. The door is gonna be opening and closing. It's gonna be people coming, speaking to somebody and walking out. So you might not be able to see the person you want to see on the floor because somebody blocking your view. If you don't want your view blocked, if you don't want nobody to distract you from what is being said, your best bet is to watch it from home. Okay? So. Okay. Well, good morning, Brenda. How are you? Listen, why my mother and her friends them don't leave me alone? My mother and her classmate them. I said, not even my father could tell me shush, so Brenda tell me, Letitia man, tell your daughter shush. No. And my father don't really use those words anyways. My father don't say like shush and all of that. My father is so tempered and diplomatic until he gets cross, But yeah, but I want to I started to tell y'all that story because there was a young lady who works security in our building. Her name is Sheila. I think her name is Sheila. I don't get people the wrong name. But Sheila, young people have the ability sometimes, if we just stop and listen to them, to just teach us something we didn't know. And all Sheila said to me is, don't let anybody get to you. And I was got to. And then Sheila said it, and I calmed down. So she don't know, and I want to thank her publicly. Her mother is a marshal. She's a police officer. She don't carry a gun. A nice girl, right? But it's, Sheila had the ability. Sheila just said, sometimes people just want to get you out of character. Don't let anybody get you out of character. And I was calm. So I was good after Sheila said that, But so Sheila, that morning, Sheila has always been like my favorite because she's a young girl. I've known her ever since she's been like 5 years old, like a little girl. And to see her grow up, being such a strong young woman, being in the police force, now being a Capitol police officer, she takes her job, her role, her position as an officer so seriously. I am so immensely proud of her, right? And she's always my favorite. But yesterday she was walking and this other guy was walking, Patrick, right? Patrick was walking, but Patrick said it magical words. Patrick said, Jamila, it look like you losing weight. So Patrick is now officially my favorite Capitol police officer. I don't know if he was lying, if he was joking, but he get all the brownie points until somebody else give me a better compliment. I am that vain. So I want to thank Patrick and Sheila. I love all our Capitol Police officers. They're really awesome. We have a group of nice, really young people who are, just doing well in the role that they serve in. And we just need to continue to pour into them so that they can develop and become the best, most productive citizens that they can be. So I just want to thank those two. And that's it for my rant of how my day went yesterday. But there's a lot of things that's happening in the legislature that we need to pay attention to. Senator Franklin Johnson had bill number 36-0187 that ended up being held in committee for further amendments. The bill, there's already an amendment circulating, I think in the nature of a substitute, but in essence, what the bill does is give voters an option to vote either by machine or by paper. And I mean, I think it's a straightforward measure. I think that a lot of people want to make the issue a lot more difficult than it is. I think that if somebody wants to go in and vote, some people like the efficiency, the quickness, the immediacy of voting on a electronic device, and there are people who just don't trust electronics that may want a paper ballot. And I think that it's simple. Give them a paper ballot, have the paper ballot placed in a separate paper ballot box, and then you count the paper ballot boxes, separately than you do the electronic machines. I think that sometimes we want to make a mountain out of a molehill, and what the people who are elected to serve on the board of elections and those people who work in the election system, those people who are members of the party, they don't understand the disservice that they do to themselves, the places where they work, when they continue to sow this mistrust in the system. Because when you fight back against something as simple as giving somebody an option, giving somebody a choice, people begin to ask, well, why you don't want me to have that option? Why you don't want me to have that choice? Is it because you know something the rest of us don't know? And that's how conspiracy theories come about. If somebody wants to vote on paper, get them the paper. If they want to sit on there and circle a bubble in, let them circle and bubble in. It is what it is. But you have to give people a choice. And so often we don't want to give people the choice, and we fight down the choice. And what we end up doing is continuing to have people believe that there's something nefarious, something corrupt that might be going on in the election system. And, I've said it before and I'll say it again. I don't think that this supervisor of election has the ability to build back the trust of the community in the system. I think that this current supervisor of election, through her own actions, has caused people to distrust the election system in the Virgin Islands, and that if we really want to see greater voter turnout, and if we want to see people returning and believing that their vote counts and their vote matters, we don't have to change the supervisor of election. When trust is gone, it's very hard to rebuild that trust. And this current supervisor of election has, through her own actions, want to, she has caused distrust. Because when you pursue your own boss, them to keep somebody's name off the ballot, at this point, nobody wants to call a spade, and everybody wants to sugarcoat everything. Everybody wants to dance around instead of saying what's being said. And like yesterday, the supervisor said, oh, one of the issues is we have a felon who want to run. And that's the problem I have with so many of y'all hypocritical people here in the Virgin Islands. A bunch of hypocrites y'all are, right? There was nothing in the Virgin Islands Code that spoke to an individual being able to run on the ballot. We have somebody convicted that sits in the highest office of the United States, but we want to now talk about preventing somebody. If somebody was a felon and they were convicted and they did their time, Jesus Christ, for how long? The Constitution does not prohibit oh yeah, what you see AI, y'all ain't hear me ask AI nothing, and AI come and talking about the United States Constitution does not prohibit. You see how your phones does be listening all the time, right? the fact of the matter is that we have to stop being so hypocritical. If somebody was a convicted felon and they've paid their time, they've done their time, right? The law says you commit a crime, you pay the penalty. Y'all don't believe in second chances, and the Virgin Islands just passed a second chance law a couple years back, which allows people to try to re-enter society. If somebody was a felon at 19, that 19-year-old isn't the same person they are at 49 years old. People grow, people change. You want to hold that against them and prevent them from having their name on the ballot. The legislature went through, and I said this to somebody yesterday. The people have said, when you dig one hole for me, dig one for the other, right? And I thought about it yesterday. When that law was passed, it was to keep Chucky Hansen, who's now deceased, off the ballot. And when that law, instead of saying let's let the people decide, which I have never been a Chucky Hansen fan. She's dead. May her soul rest in peace. Politically, her and I were not ever on the same page politically. But let the people decide. And what ended up happening, because somebody pointed it out to me yesterday, and I thought about it. They said, when you dig one hole for when you're digging a hole for somebody, dig one for yourself. They said, you know what we ended up doing? We ended up giving her, a pardon. So she had no record at all. And then she lost that particular election, but she went on to win. And so just let the people decide. And so when Miss Fox came about, felon running, stop being the moral judge. That person has already done their time. Why you want to keep people off of the ballot? If the Virgin Islands people, just like the people of the United States, want a felon to represent them, let them vote for the felon or not. That person has already paid their price or the debt to society. We're so hypocritical. I always want to block off somebody and put up obstacles in the way for people to redeem themselves. And we always looking down our nose at people and all kind of foolishness, So, and then the next thing I don't understand, and my guest is in here, and we're going to talk about this, is that at that hearing yesterday, it was revealed. And this is what pissed me off. This is why sometimes, people need to shush. Just don't tell me to shush, but people need to shush, right? While I'm working, right? It was revealed that they said they have 18,000 Democrats territory-wide, and then they have like 40-something actual registered voters, right? However, of that I watch the numbers on the website.
Actual registered voters.
No, she said active voters, 18. 9,000 on St. Croix, 8 on St. Thomas, and 600 on St. John. Okay. All right? She said, I'm just going to give you the active numbers, right? So those are the active voters. And they have like almost 40,000 actual active voters, right? But out of those active voters, right? According to the chair of the Democratic Party, because listen, they had their panties and they what boys wear brief boxers up in a bunch yesterday because of this card carrying, dues paying Democrat. So all of you who decided to register as a Democrat, y'all ain't recognized by the Democratic cabal that does be sitting down in a room trying to make decision is 100 people, less than 100 people. And according to the state chair of the party, there's less than 100 people who actually have paid dues to the Democratic Party. And according to the state chair, that means out of the 18,000 Democrats that live in this territory, right? You have less than 100 is less than 1% of the 18,000, right? 18,000 Democrats. Yeah, that's 1%. Less than 1%. It's less than 1%. Yeah, it's less than 1%, right? Of registered Democrats that can be qualified to be on the ballot. And this is what get me. And Carol says she's coming up here, and I want her to come up here. She says she's coming up after fair. Oh, we welcome everybody, but you're taking a position. Oh, I own this. You can't come to use we to get elected. Who is we? It's only 100 IO that was. Tell them don't call me. I am talking. That's Nibs, right? Tell him leave. He hear me calling. Tell him, shush. If I'm speaking, stop calling. Wait until I'm done to call. And stop telling Jen to tell me you're on the line. Okay, she's coming and tell her stop. Jen, tell you don't call back until I don't talk.
When you're done talk.
Just now, right?
Okay.
Because I have to introduce you. But what I'm saying is you're gatekeeping this Democratic Party. And all you can do is gatekeep the symbol. All you can do is gatekeep the fact that somebody said that they're a Democrat on the ballot and the use of your symbol. That's the only thing the National Democratic Party own. You can't tell an individual that they can't say they're not a registered Democrat. The only thing the Democratic Party could stop you from using on a ballot legally. Jen, they're harassing Jen. Stop harassing Jen. Okay? Stop calling Jen. And y'all gonna be on hold for a minute. So stop calling Jen. Stressing Jen out. Right? The only thing the Democratic Party can do is stop you from using their symbol on the ballot. That's the only thing they could stop you from doing. Because if I am a Democrat and wherever is trademarked to the Democratic Party, they need to stop it, the gatekeeping, because they want who they want and who they don't like, who don't kowtow to them, because the less than 100 of them is the same set of people that has get job from administration to administration that can't do none of the work and has been messing up this Virgin Islands for years. Okay? Eyesight. Them who does pay dues, does pay the dues, and does go to the meeting and all of that because they don't want to ensure that they could go and call the Democratic governor and the Democratic senators and say, well, I'm a Democrat, you must answer my call. And I'm a Democrat and I need a job. Who are you fooling? I need to stop lying to the people, want to put up barriers for people to want to run. If an individual who's working in this Virgin Islands government now, who has never paid dues, but have been voted as a Democrat all their life, decide they want to be of service to their people because they come to none of your stupidity meeting and they pay your stupidity $100. You want to tell them they can't run under the Democratic Party banner? Are you full of nonsense? And then I want to know why I left the Democratic Party. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I went and I was going to run under the Democratic Party banner until Cecil Benjamin tell me I need to listen to he. I been there right there. But what Nissan there? Right there. That's in James been to the party. That's in James.
A frustrating experience with
Wait, my phone, listen. Yeah. My phone, something is going on with my phone.
You are having a frustrating
experience with the party. That is what Bixby just tell me. You know? Listen.
Jesus Lord.
Listen.
I going home.
Listen. I am so done with this. I have Senator Maurice James just walking. She gonna save me from myself.
I will.
My phone was attempting to save me too. For those of you who heard that was not a man in the studio. That is my phone. And my phone has said, sounds like you're having a frustrated experience with the Democratic Party. I am now going to turn my camera to Senator James, and so she could introduce herself and save me from myself, because yesterday's testimony, I was so frustrated. I was so frustrated by the posture. And I'm going to tell Carol, you make it so that people who want to be involved in the party ain't going to want to come to our meeting. Are you using how can we be using the Democratic Party when they only have less than 100 IO that voted? It's all of those other people who don't attend meetings, who have seen candidates who they feel policies and message align with their spirit and their soul, just come out and vote. You think it's the less than 100 IO that'll put anybody in office? You know, let me go drink some coffee. All right. Senator James, let me turn the camera to you. So I could
Should I
myself.
need to bring the mic closer?
Yeah, bring the mic very closer to you.
Okay.
So I could keep myself out of trouble.
Good morning. Good morning. Amam?
Yes, you're
All
on.
right. Good morning, Virgin Islands. And Jamila, you do this to me all the time. Every time I come up here, you start out with a hot topic. When I am not coming up here to talk about that topic, but you know what? I'm going to say this. And I am a Democrat. And there are reasons why people join the Democratic Party, because you believe in the ideology, the philosophy, the values. You grew up understanding what Democrats stand for and the things they advocate as opposed to the Republican Party. So I first want to say that I have been a Democrat for a long, long time. There are some things that you said that are truthful, but I do want to say this yesterday because I want to clarify something that I think is very important. When I asked the chair about, or the supervisor of election about the number of Democrats in the territory, and then I asked the state chair, because I was the one who posed the question about the number of people who are actually paid dues. What it does for me, the reason that I asked the question was actually to provide the chair with an opportunity that didn't happen. Let's just put it that way. And it's this opportunity. We have 18,000 Democrats, registered Democrats in the Virgin Islands, and they don't know, for example, that they can join clubs, because there are a number of clubs on the islands, right? St. Thomas, St. Croix. And when I look at what paying dues is about, is almost sure I went and I registered as a Democrat, but now I want to actively promote the Democratic Party. I want to actively promote the principles, the values of the Democratic Party. I want to come out, join a club, because if you think about it, the territorial committee members are elected. So by virtue of election, they become members of the territorial committee. They become members of the St. Croix district, St. Thomas. So it was a missed opportunity, but I am a senator. So I have to ask questions to educate people and provoke thought like you did. Your reaction to it was what you just stated. My reaction was more, this is an opportunity really to say to the Democrats out there, you need to become active members. I think that was what the state chair was trying to say. I can't speak for her, but in my mind at the time, I was thinking, if I have 18,000 people who are registered Democrats, I need to find a way to get those people to become active members in the sense of beyond voting, beyond just coming and voting every 2 years. In between the years, there are issues that we need as a Democratic Party, we need to promote. We need to have to be behind and senators in terms of getting things passed, like my candidacy bill that I came up here to talk about. So, it's about galvanizing all these people who have chosen to go in and register as a Democrat. They do that because there is something in their lives, maybe as children, their parents say we are Democrats. But it's all educating the 18,000 people too. But on that note, I do want to say this too, because I am promoting my candidacy bill, and I'm trying to open up the pool of people. I want to say this, that if you are somebody out there who want to run as a Democrat, okay, you need to pay your dues before February 1st. And that is part of the plan that went into effect. I didn't agree with all aspects of the plan, but I do believe that when Malloy said that the Democratic Party had to come up with a certification plan. I think the executive committee did the best they could. We in other states, people pay filing fees. You know that.
But Senator James, and this is where I disagree with your statement now and the plan that the Democratic Party has proposed.
Okay.
Right? You can't just, while Judge Malloy had this ruling come out from 2022, 2024, whatever year it was.
2024.
Right, 2024.
Right.
In that entire time, the Democratic Party, and this has always been my issue with the Democratic Party. The Democratic Party stays silent on every matter, on every issue.
I agree.
They have a territorial committee meeting today, right? Nobody don't know about it. The general public don't know about it. You know about it as a senator because they probably called you, right? I know about it because I am senatorial adjacent, right?
Right.
But
right.
the public doesn't know about this. How do you intend to bring people into your party when you have the person who's the state chair of the party talking about exclusion from the party, and that people want to use the party? If somebody telling me I using them, me coming to your party, me coming to your function,
yeah,
you know, the posture is as if only certain people are entitled because they suffer, and that is the same position that some of the elected members who are talking against bill number 36-0105 is taking. I suffer, so you must suffer too. And so, how do you?
Wait, was that my bill that you were just referencing? I think you have the wrong
36-0105. Sorry.
No, ain't 105.
Oh no, 130, lad. 134.
I hate when people call the numbers. Just had a candidacy bill.
Candidacy bill 36-0134. I don't only remember bills by by number.
I do not.
105 is the hemp bill. That don't pass. Sorry.
Right.
No, it gets so much bills when you have
no, yeah.
Joseph name.
Right. They are.
I have to run out the list of them in my
Can
brain.
we collaborate?
But you understand what I'm saying?
I understand.
So in that time, while you were developing this plan, where has your town hall meetings been? Where has your discussion been? Where you're asking people, hey, the Democratic Party is hosting, and not for a candidate, not go to somebody campaign headquarters, because not everybody vote for that candidate. Said the Democratic Party proper, the St. Croix district is holding a St. Croix committee meeting so that we can discuss changes and ask our registered Democrats to do it. You do it in Frederickstead, you do it in Mid-Island, you do it in Christianstead. You meet people where they are. You don't come up with a plan by the executive committee and then take the posture about people using the party, because some of them same people on the Democratic Party banner went and was campaigning for a non-Democrat and get position with a non-Democrat, and all of them the twist and turn and the be all kind of in our kind of position to get job from one administration to the next. That's why I'm gonna always be Jamila, because I've suffered the consequences. I just stand my ground, and I don't say what I need to say. And when John De Young them tell me I can't get a job in government under the administration, I was fine. I did not lose 1 pound, right? But some of them cannot, and they will twist and turn to get everything that they want, and that's what the people see, and that's why the people aren't coming out to join them. It's the messenger.
Okay. I understand what you're saying. The thing about it is, though, don't kill an entire party because of a few individuals that you.
The less than 100.
The thing about it is, I'm going to tell you that I too have had challenges throughout my life with the Democratic Party. I have, but
they don't like you. Let's just say it public. They don't like her. Listen,
what's the question?
No, it's true. They did not support your candidacy. They did not. I mean, you're gonna be politically right. I don't have to be. They don't support your candidacy. Of the sitting senators on the St. Croix district, the only Democratic senator in our district that they supported was Lorenzo Frederick. They did not support anybody else. They barely wanted to support Novell. And now all of them going to jump up and say they supported Novell because he's running with the lieutenant governor. and they wasn't supporting him. Tell them don't trouble me. They trouble me. Tell them don't trouble me.
Okay, but you know what? We need to focus beyond them though.
Okay.
The them that you're talking about, because that's why I'm here this morning. I want to focus
let's
beyond
talk
them.
about the candidacy bill.
You know, and listen. Before I say that too, you know, there are a number of things that you said that are true, but you know, two things can be true at the same time. You know that, right?
Yeah.
And you said one, said two. My message as someone who have gone through a lot of trials and been tested in this community, and as you said, have not been supported in this community. I still love this community that I live in, and I could have said at some point in my life, to hell with it and move on. I could have decided not to come back into public service, but I did. The thing about it is that at times, you heard me, as a matter of fact, what was funny, on the day that my candidacy bill was heard, I felt in me that something was going on. And you know that well because you texted me and you said, do you have the votes? And then you called me and I said, I don't trust what's happening here today. I said that to you.
Yeah, you told me that.
Right. I said, no, I just know it intuitively. I figured it out. I said, but you only have one vote, Maurice. You have the support. And I do want to say this
that's what you
publicly.
that's what you told me very early that morning.
Yeah, I told you very early. So at the end of the day, I wasn't surprised. I may have been disappointed and I may have felt betrayed, but I wasn't. I was just disappointed, that's all. Because as an attorney, I know, and listen, both as an attorney and a basketball player, sometimes you go out on a basketball court, and I've said this, and you're the best player, but it doesn't necessarily mean that your team is going to win, right? But you move on, and you accept your loss gracefully, which I did that evening. But the one thing that I'm going to do is always be honest with the people of the Virgin Islands. I'm not going to play games with them. I'm not going to, at the end of the day, and you know this from me, if I don't agree with something, I say it straight up, I oppose it, and I stand firm on that opposition. What is happening now is a delay that is really unnecessary. You know, I think that if my colleagues feel strongly about not allowing government employees to run without taking leave, they want them to take leave, vote that way. Just vote. You know, I like I said in the meeting we had, just man up, you know, and just say, hey, I don't. But most of my colleagues, if you listen to the day, the ones who said they were amending it, they were saying that they supported it. And so I feel that the majority of my colleagues do support my bill. The tactics were not good tactics, but I was glad that I had some people in the foxhole with me. And I do want to shout out those people because I saw that the news media focus on the people who opposed the candidacy bill or let's say put it on hold, right? But I had the support of number one and number two who standing on both sides of me, which is Clifford Joseph and Avery Lewis, right? Because they sponsored the bill with me. And I really need people to know that, you know. Dwayne DeGraff, who he and I go way back in the military, and he understand about being in a foxhole. You gotta be careful who's in the foxhole with you, you know.
Because I don't tell you this all the time. You can't go to war with some of these people.
You know, Novell Francis supported me from the last legislature. He was there. As a matter of fact, if you remember clearly, he said, bring it on.
Yeah.
Remember that was an interesting day.
Yeah, he was.
He said, bring it on.
Yeah.
And I really and then the Milton Pata. But somebody who really I have come to enjoy because I always knew him outside of the Senate. But I really enjoy working with him now is Franklin Johnson. And I do want to say that. So I think I covered everybody, right? Frankie, Novell, Clifford, Dwayne, Milton Potter, me, and Avery. That's 7. So I want to shout out to them and thank them for supporting me. And you know, the interesting thing is the 2 minority senators, Senator Dwayne DeGraff and Senator Franklin Johnson, after came up to me to give me support. You know, I said, you know, don't worry, Maurice, we're going to stand with you and we're going to move forward. And 2 minority senators out of a 12 majority that I'm in. So that's politics too. And I just really want to say that to the people out there who want to, you know, and this is a thing, there are people who are calling me, you know, what's going to happen with the bill? And that's what I really wanted to discuss today. And because you are the expert, oh, by the way, I need to say this. I am an attorney, okay? And in the legal world, when you go to court, the judge has that gavel, and you talk about people and the active and the floor at the Senate and moving. Because I'm trained as an attorney, I haven't gotten used to doing that up and down. And I don't, because I think the people have to see.
No, but things will be happening. I'll be like, girl, you need to go.
I know you do.
And she can tell you. I'll be like, you need to go over there. 4 people congregating, go figure out what they're doing.
And I don't.
And she does.
I do not move.
And she'll be not moving.
Yeah, not moving.
Christina does go.
I
just go, and then I'll be like, okay, this is the amendment. And she was like, and she'd be like, you go there now. I was like, listen, it's a live institution. You could tell the people it's live. People don't understand that things change on that floor immediately, because I went back on my text between you that day, because Shashamani had the eye that day.
Oh, that's right.
With the eye stuff.
Right.
So I couldn't get to St. Thomas, right? And I was texting, and when I heard the arguments, I texted her again and I said, no, man, we get a vote. And you texted me back and you said, not sure.
Yeah.
That's what you texted me back. Although we had the discussion already.
Right.
After I heard all of the conversation, I said, we get a vote. Right?
Yeah, and after hearing that, I said, I think so. Yeah. But there was a sentence that was said by the majority leader, Senator Viale, when he said, I will hold the bill.
I would, if it was up to me, I would hold the bill
until that we're going to see them next week.
We're going to see them next week.
And I said, oh man, they're going to hold the bill. And
but he didn't have the votes at that time, and we were already in debate. So I said he can't. Strategically, I knew if he didn't hold it when session started, I was like, what he didn't have the opportunity to hold it again. And then when I see him offer the amendment, I was like, okay, no, he good.
Yeah.
He Gucci.
Yeah, I thought so too.
But then
at that point, but in the back of my head, I was like, something is going on in this place that doesn't make me feel, you know, I am an empath. So I feel people's vibrations, their energy. I understand what's going on. And I just was feeling, I was trying to focus on the energy from Avery Lewis, who, by the way, is a champion when it comes to this bill.
Well, listen, I didn't know Avery Lewis used to get her. For the people at St. Thomas, you know, I will say this, and I'll say this publicly. Avery ran, he came out of an administration that some people didn't really particularly, you either like Albert, you hate Albert, all of that, right?
Right.
And I think he ran 5th in the St. Thomas district. Okay. Right, and then Ray Fonseca is like 3,000 votes behind. He's 7th.
Oh, that's true. That's true. He's like more than 2,000 votes.
He's
right behind Avery.
Behind either Avery or Carla, and the difference between Avery Lewis and Carla Joseph is like 5 votes. Okay. Right, so they're a virtual tie. Right. So whatever that is, I have learned to appreciate Senator Lewis. If he tells you he's supporting something, he's supporting it. Yeah. If he says, he reminds me of Dwayne DeGraff in that he keeps his word.
That's true.
And and you know,
both of them. I agree.
You know, so
Dwayne will come over, and I let Senator DeGraff, but you know, he will come over and he will tell me, Maurice, I can't support this bill. Yeah. Or he will say, I have your back on this one. Well, Avery is that person too.
Yeah.
You know, he will say, you know, or he would even encourage me, you know, in terms of, okay, let's see how we can amend it or the amendments that are being offered are amendments we can live with. For example, the 30-day before the election. He said to me, this is going to come, you need to think about it. And then Senator Milton Potter was sitting next to me during the rules. And he said to me, Maurice, it gets hectic the days before.
It does.
And so you should consider agreeing to that, But I'm not a member of the rules anyway. And I said, well, and I turned to him and I said, Milton, you're correct. It does when you look back. When I look back, and I said, so I can understand that. And so I was fine with Senator Alma Francis Heiliger's amendment. I was also fine with Senator Viala's amendment.
Yeah, that one that made
for
sense
the notification.
Too. Yeah,
made sense.
that made sense. Yeah.
And so I was waiting. And then from the Friday before, Senator Angel Boquez had already told me about his amendments, and I was fine with it. So that was perhaps for me the most disappointing time, was the fact that he was saying about making amendments. He needed to make amendments. But he
calculated an amendment from the Thursday before.
From the Thursday before.
Yeah.
But you have to sometimes, step back and see where people are, right? And if you think about it, in this 36th legislature, 2 seats are going to open up on the island of St. Croix, and I'm going to speak specifically to St. Croix, right? So there are going to be 2 openings, because 2 of the senators who are in the 36 are not going to run for the Senate again, right? Okay. But if you think about it, Jamila.
What? Wait, what you just said?
2 of the senators in the 36 are not running for the Senate again.
Oh, you are Novell.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So there are 2 openings
on St. Croix.
On the island of St. Croix. In that sense, because I don't believe a seat belongs to anybody, right? They're all open, but I mean, the fact that 2 people who are incumbents are not running. But when it comes to the at-large seat, that's 1. And so I think when I look at Senator Boquez's position, when it comes to competition, he has a higher...
He's more targeted.
Yes.
For the lack of a better word. And a higher visibility.
Right. So he would, if, for example, the ones on St. Croix, who are the other 5, let's say the other 5 people have a little breathing space.
Yeah.
Maybe.
We don't know.
We don't know. Right. But he doesn't, because he's the only Democrat sitting at large. So his view and perspective would be different.
Yeah. Would not. Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Would be like, let me protect my seat.
Yeah.
And maybe he came from that perspective.
And that's understandable.
Yeah. Well, to you, not to me.
Oh Lord. Okay, good. I'm just saying.
I'm like, bring it on. I'm like Senator.
You're Senator Novell.
I'm like Senator Novell. It's like, and then remember, and then the guy I work for, Clifford Joseph, he was like, competition is competition.
Yeah,
let him come. He was like, what we afraid? Competition is good. And and he's like, and it was when I first approached.
So is Avery Lewis, same thing.
Yeah, same
both
thing.
of them.
Both of them have the same
I
position.
think that's why they co-sponsor.
And when because when Senator Joseph and I had met initially when I was going to work for him, I said, there's this bill, and I talked to him about the bill long before you and him sat down.
Yeah.
And he said, Jamila, I'm not about making life harder for people. They elect me to make it easier.
That's
and
true.
so, if I could help somebody to run, he said, the most I could do is lose a seat, but I gotta be good.
Yeah,
but our job ain't to be worried about ourselves. Our job is to be worried about. That's what he said.
Right?
That's what he said.
Yeah.
My job is to worry about what's to come.
Right.
And I appreciate his perspective.
Yeah.
And make joke about this all the time about he's so able to temper me. You're like,
yes.
He
does.
You're like, your boss have such a, and I'm like, I didn't think about it before, because his dynamic, he's calm. He just, but he says something, and I'll be like, okay, I got it.
What I like about Clifford, and I know, okay, I go, everybody gonna know I love the senators that I love, who I love working with. But the one thing about being an attorney in the Senate is that when we're passing laws, I am very, very like highly tuned into the words that are in the law
Yeah.
because, and I keep saying this to my colleagues, we are the lawmakers. We have to understand it's going in a book.
Mm-hmm.
And at some point, somebody in an agency or a department has to execute this law,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
People have to follow the law.
Mm-hmm.
And if we don't make the law as clear as possible,
Mm-hmm.
and someone disputes it and takes it to court, now the judiciary, the judicial branch now has to try to figure out what do we mean by putting these words into this law? What do we mean by that? And I think maybe sometimes my colleagues don't understand when I feel very passionate about the words that are being written because words matter, they carry weight. And like my brother Neville said, you're one of one. You're the only attorney in the Senate, but you need to remember that you have a bar license, and you need to make sure that you remember your duty as an attorney, your responsibility as an attorney, right? And that comes with when I'm no longer in the Senate. Somebody comes to me with a law in the books, and I have to try to figure it out.
Yeah.
Why? You know?
Yeah, and sometimes, and people get mad because a lot of times what the public sees is just the short title of the bill, and everybody gets mad with me.
Yeah.
Oh, the short title isn't the law. I know in the law, but when you have a misleading or a short title that's vague
Right.
or doesn't accurately reflect the entirety of, then my position is then don't write no short title in, because it could be so misleading.
Right, it can
and
be.
And I keep telling people there's a difference between must and shall.
Oh man, people just
and it makes no sense when you put a may in a law in law. It has no enforcement.
For those of you who don't know,
because may is very subjective, and they get mad at me. I don't use may. Don't put out may in nothing that we driving.
One of the things though that I also want to say too is that when I came into the legislature, Senator Noel Francis was the president of the legislature, right? We selected him, and when he started, he would always say, in recognizing me, and I really need to say this today because I need people to understand this. He would say, Marie C. James, Esquire.
Yep.
And I said to him, you don't have to say Esquire. I'm just saying Senator Marie C. James. He kept doing it. I said, okay. And I eventually said, no, just drop it. And he was being very respectful because he's that kind of a guy, right? And when I look back, I know that when Lieutenant Governor Tregenza Roach was in the legislature, you would always see Tregenza Roach Esquire, Esquire. And then I said, I wonder if the reason why he did the Esquire was because he wanted people to understand that this is earned, right? He went to law school. I'm talking about Lieutenant Governor Roach. He went to law school. You come back and you take first of all, you have to pass all your bar, your law school examinations, which are hard. And then you come back, you study for the bar, you pass the bar. And that's when you get the Esquire. If you don't see ESQ behind somebody's name.
That means they pass the bar, and I don't tell a lot of them. So
Jamila.
They just go to law school and can't pass the test.
I wasn't going there.
Sorry.
But Senator Noel Francis would always say that, you don't have to say it, right? And then when I was running last election and I said, I am the only attorney in the legislature, people got upset with me for saying that. And I'm like, but wait, I earned this. I should be proud.
Yeah.
I want to encourage people out there, as a matter of fact, a lot of young people, to consider going to law school. But I have always respected the expertise that other people in the Senate bring to the Senate. If there's an issue with police, I listen closely to what Senator Noel Francis is saying, because I don't have the expertise,
Yeah.
Corrections, Bureau of Correction. And I think that's when I really truly came to appreciate Senator, because I went over to him and I said, can you explain to me what goes on in corrections? And he did, when it comes to housing, I go to Marvin Blight and he is the housing czar.
Yeah.
He knows public, so I recognize the hat that they came with to the Senate, and I don't expect them to take that hat off when the subject matter is what they know. That police hat, police science, that they both know. So my thing is respect attorneys, respect legal counsel in the Senate also. I really need to get that across, because the night of the candidacy bill hearing, the chief legal counsel, Attorney Amos Carter, came up to me to talk to me.
Tell them you're on the
And then the
radio.
Senator, I was standing there, and we were talking about an issue with respect, procedural issue with respect to, well, it wasn't even procedural at that point, it was substantive with respect to the branches of government. And here I am talking to Attorney Amos Carty. I'm respecting his legal opinion as the chief. And a colleague of mine decided to interrupt us and begin to tell us the law. And you know what? I walked off. I walked away, because you're not going to come up to me and Attorney Amos Carty, and we're having a legal discussion. And I'm not saying we know it all, but that's very rude. And I'm going to do that every time that happens. Do not come up to me and explain anything, especially when the Attorney Carty is explaining something, and he and I are having in a discussion, because it doesn't necessarily mean I agree always with him or he with me, right? So I just need to get that out, that people come to the Senate with expertise and knowledge in certain areas, and we need to respect one another when it comes to that. I attended a housing conference with Senator Clifford Joseph, and they were talking about, I'll never forget it, and this is like last year, February, he had just gotten in. We're in Connecticut, and they're talking about fire escapes, I remember, and or steps on the side of the building. And he got up and he explained to them from his position as a former fireman, fire chief, fire director. And everybody in the room appreciated that. Why do we have to go elsewhere for people to appreciate, the knowledge, the expertise that we bring to the table, right? And that's just to say, okay, if there's an issue with fire, I'm going to go to Clifford. I'm going to ask him.
And telephone. and electricity and plumbing. Listen, he know a little bit about everything.
Yeah, but you know what I mean too. And it's the same way like Senator Viale and Senator Lewis. They are the people who come with backgrounds in education, the education department. They know things I don't know about the running of the education department. I won't know, because I didn't live it. Right? But don't come, when we were driving here and we were listening to you, you made my husband laugh so much.
That's my buddy, Mr. Paul. That's my buddy.
But yeah, there are times when you do have to stand your ground. And with the candidacy bill, I want the people out there to know that my colleagues only held it. There are a lot of that we won't go into in terms of procedure, right? You could do that later, not with me.
No, you tell me not to, so I won't.
No.
And my boss tell me not to, so I won't.
Yeah.
No. I wouldn't do that. I just joking. I would not have. But
they held it.
They didn't. Well, I guess that's a wrong word.
Well, yeah, but what I want to, okay, there's a pause. There's a pause on the vote.
Yeah.
That's okay. Let's say that. I'll agree with you with it.
It's a pause.
So it hasn't. The bill has not ended, died, whatever. No, that hasn't happened.
And it will be considered
at
a later date.
Right. And I need to let them know that, because there are people calling me about it. Yeah, no, it has not. And if you go back and you look at and I encourage people to go back and look at the session.
Yeah. It's available on YouTube.
Yes. It's
Yeah.
available. You can look at it and you will see that.
And if you go to the 7-hour, 32-minute mark, it's there.
Oh, Jesus.
No, I know the timestamp of it. That's all. Just have to remember. You know the things I remember.
Yeah.
You always laugh after me when I kick out these random things.
Your memory, your intelligence
se-
is something
se-
else.
The 7-hour and 32-minute mark, you know. And if you
Yeah.
rewind a little bit more, you'll hear from that. I think 7:32 is when Senator BLA gets up to make his motion. You know, so I think people.
Well,
need to-
his was an amendment.
well, you have to make a motion to.
No,
to
no. What
send
I mean is,
it.
I need
And
to
he made it,
distinguish that he did the amendment
Oh yeah, so
because
we want
because
that
right
thing.
now, right now, the bill as it stands has been amended by Senator Alma Francis Heiliger with respect to the 30 days,
and
and it has
amended.
been amended by Senator Kurt VLA with respect to notification.
Notification.
And that's where it stands right now.
Yes.
But I don't want people out there to despair. There's still hope. There's still hope.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna keep hope alive for sure. And I think we're going to eventually prevail.
Mhm.
You know, I do want to say that we all must admit that it's a financial hardship to run for any elected position,
It is.
especially when you're a government employee. You know, when you're a private employee, private, you know, there was this talk about the private sector. For the most part, private sector employers don't have the same, well, they're not in the Senate, so they don't feel
threatened.
threatened.
And they don't tell you have to quit your job.
no,
to
no,
run.
no. That
They'll
doesn't-
just tell you, don't bring that
Don't
thing
bring
over
it.
in ya.
Yeah, don't bring it to the job.
Yeah.
So they're already, I saw a young guy on St. Thomas, a young attorney. I didn't know he was an attorney. The guy, the young man, Hodge, he's running for the Senate.
Is he at ESQ or just went to law school?
He took the bar, so I think he's waiting to hear the results, or he's going to take the bar, one or the other.
Well, then he not attorney yet.
Okay, he's a lawyer.
He not lawyer
He's
either.
a
He
JD. He's a
just-
JD.
He a JD. He
He's
could use
something
JD
else.
behind the name.
Well,
That's
anyway,
why-
I wish him.
listen.
I am going to wish him
Oh Lord,
success
I wish him
on
success on the
taking.
bar.
That's right. On
'Cause
taking the bar.
I know some people who proudly to use JD behind their name because they sit on for the bar a lot of times and come past it, not even a half hour one at a time. But I won't say the name.
You can't help yourself enough.
No, because
He said- So Shomali said that.
really? You are just checking for the anonymous like that?
Yeah. Yes. I enjoy having this conversation today with you.
But so
but
the
you
bill-
know,
the
I
bill isn't
really
dead. I just want
wish.
the public to know that the bill isn't dead because
Yeah.
just like how you receiving calls, our office have been getting
Yes.
calls from
Yes.
individuals, you know, and I have explained to them that you know, there's, you know, we won't. There's certain things that you should not make public. I'm a firm believer of that, and there are internal processes. I work in the legislature. There's discussions I had that isn't up for public purview.
Right.
But they at the end of the discussion, the agreed upon position is that it will be heard.
Yeah.
It
has to be. Well, it's
not
not-
be heard. It will be voted upon.
It'll be voted upon.
And it has to be voted upon because it's
Right.
on the agenda.
Right.
And if your agenda is incomplete and you forget something on the agenda, you have to put it on the next agenda. So it will be placed on the next agenda. That meeting probably won't be until sometime in March, but it will be placed on the legislative agenda.
Yeah. So for those who my position, you know what's interesting about my bill, that if you look at it, the existing law right now does not include.
Oh wait, he is a lawyer. The man is a lawyer.
So there you go. Thank you.
And Williams and
Thank you very much.
said
There
the
you
person
go.
is a lawyer.
There you
So-
go. Thank you very
so-
much. Thank you, whoever said that.
Who that is said?
It's no. It's the young guy who's on the Constitutional Convention.
That's Stedman Hodge.
No. Oh man, somebody help me out with the young man.
That's Stedman.
No,
Who has done?
I know Stedman. I saw him in the military.
That's what I asked
Stedman.
you. I tell you,
You had the wrong person. I talking about this young guy. Rudell? Is it?
Oh,
Rudell.
okay. That's the one that
I maybe mispronouncing his name.
that's the one. I know who you're talking about. That's the one that Okay, he didn't. He was one of those. Did he run for the Constitution or he get writing? Yeah, that's
Maybe he got written in.
that's one of
Because
the
they were
young
young. They
people.
were one
Yeah,
of the.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
So he's here.
St. Thomas.
He's in St. Thomas. And
That's
what
true.
happening with the young person? You know, I like young people.
Well,
Sometimes.
I think he's
All the
running.
time.
I think he's running. I think he's running for the Senate.
In St. Thomas?
Yeah. I think
Okay.
so. And then there's a young lady, Sua, running for the at-large position.
Hadia?
Yeah.
She was supposed to be. They somebody contacted me for her to come up here, but I think somebody else came up. They
And then
don't,
you have
they don't know
Terry Helenese and Janelle Sarro running for delegates.
the young people. Yeah, we need. I mean, young people
Yeah.
should run.
They should.
They should. A lot of things, though, I will say is that a lot of people need to understand the role that they want to run for, so that because we have a lot of misinformation in the public about who's responsible, who isn't responsible, all of that stuff. All right. Okay. Some J moment said a boy named Rudell Hodge Jr.
Thank you.
And William said Rudell Hodge Jr.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
So so he is
Yeah, I know.
I know who you're talking about. I remember him from the swearing in.
He
wasn't didn't at the swearing in for the Constitutional Convention. I don't remember. So that means he had to pass the bar within after the Constitutional Convention gets sworn in.
Probably.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
But
right.
yeah, I'm glad though that those young people are throwing their hats in the ring.
Oh yeah, see, Dr. Carla Bastian said he to use Esquire, so that means he passed the bar.
That means he did. Thank you.
That means he like somebody else. I know that.
Oh,
JD behind
Lord help me! You can use JD.
No. This person.
You can.
No, this person.
People don't know.
This person has to be
hold
warned by the bar to stop calling themselves a lawyer in the Virgin Islands.
Attorney
in the Virgin Islands.
No, JD means that they have a doctorate. They earned their doctorate.
No, we know that. That's what I mean, juris.
Not everybody know that.
Because a juris doctorate.
Okay,
because,
thank you. But we need to inform the public.
The president at UVI, the
That's
former
right.
president of the
JD.
UVI,
That's right.
he was
a JD.
He was at JD.
Yeah.
He had a juris doctorate.
And there are people, Jamila, and I need to make this clear to you and the people out there. There are people who go to law school, graduate from law school, and decide never to take the bar because they don't want to be practicing law. You understand?
Oh, this is a cute little, he looked like he could be my child.
So there you go.
Yeah. Okay.
He's always been so warm to me whenever I see him. He's always a very, very, very courteous.
He has a little globe thing. Rudy for Senate. His name is Rudell.
Okay.
RUDEL.
DEL. Okay.
Yeah. Alberto Hodge Jr.
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, he
does look like he has some Spanish in him. Alberto.
Lord.
You look at people who like you, mixed breed.
Stop behaving yourself.
I am going to behave.
Yeah, but he ran. A lot of young people are running.
Oh, that's good.
And I think there are a number on St. Croix who are going to run too, or people who have. And by the way, government experience is important. Okay, that was one of the reasons why I also have advocating for my bill, because people who have also served in government bring the expertise of understanding government. For example, if you were to run. And
not me, I can't run to even lose weight. I've been running to lose weight, right? Let me tell my people.
No, but you understand what I'm saying? You have depth and breadth of experience in government.
You see how now you say I have depth and breadth. The people will make me in the comics look fatter and bigger.
No, comics. Don't do that.
Lord.
No. And by the way, I don't care what anybody say. I did enjoy that comic with the ladder. Okay. Straight up. I did. So thank you. I want to say thank you to them. Yes. Because we did refer to that during the somebody had said it, remember? About pulling up the ladder. Somebody had said it during the thing. So it's all in fun. Sometimes, we take things personally, but we really shouldn't.
Okay, so he's barred in New York.
There you go.
So that's a good thing.
That's exactly right.
Yeah,
okay,
so I'm glad. I'm glad. But
that's where I know I had seen that he was waiting for VI Maybe that's where in my recollection, I remember when I said I think he's waiting for to take the bar results. So
Okay.
then that's
Yeah.
the VI.
Okay, well that's
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
I'm
But by the way, the New York bar is very, very hard. So congratulations to that young man.
yeah, I think
It's one of the hardest in the country.
And the Virgin Islands, New York,
Yes, the Virgin
California.
Islands, that's right.
Wait, you got two more that'll be in the top 5.
Yeah,
I
people
can't-
don't know that, you know,
yeah.
but our bar is
The
hard.
Virgin Islands is one of the
Yeah.
back when it used to be
It
one
is.
in the top 5 of the
Yeah.
hard bar.
Yeah.
So when you see somebody pass the VI bar, that means they
And he-
have some semblance of intelligence.
Oh,
Or
jeez.
could study well and pass a test.
Oh, jeez.
Because,
Okay.
you know, I could study and pass a test, and that don't mean I intelligent. So I can just say that.
Okay.
You know
Okay.
what happened?
I said okay.
Okay. So
Okay.
so the final disposition. So your bill is you have a commitment to have the bill heard. Voted. It's not heard because it's already been heard. It'll be placed on the next legislative agenda.
Yeah.
And you're comfortable with that at this point.
I am.
Okay. All
I
right.
am.
So that's good.
I was assured by my colleagues,
Okay.
you know, and the majority leader, you know,
Yeah.
when
Okay.
he spoke, I right now I'm trusting in what he's saying, you know.
Yeah.
I'm trusting in what the Senate president is saying. I'm
Yeah.
trusting in what the attorney party is saying.
Yeah.
I feel comfortable. I still will talk to the other people who voted with me on Monday,
Mhm.
because I had some unresolved questions.
Mhm.
But you know, yeah, we'll get together and decide. The one thing that is very important that was stressed, you talk about it being active, but at the same time, when bills are being voted on, we need to be quiet and really hear what is being
For the roll call. For roll
yeah,
call.
we need to
Yeah,
do
just
that.
for the roll call.
Because if people go and listen, they'll hear a lot of background noises going on. It appeared as if people didn't know what they were voting on.
And
Those are
sometimes-
things I don't like.
And sometimes you don't know. I will tell you. Like sometimes
Like, we have to pay attention.
yeah, but sometimes legitimately you don't know. I know that there have been instances, and I have come back up and said, "Well, Bill, what amendment y'all just?" I mean, I don't vote, but staffers, we're paid to pay attention for you guys.
Right.
And sometimes there are things you get. So sometimes you could get distracted. I was telling somebody this one day. I was like, that legislature is a moving, living organism, and so sometimes in the middle of a vote, somebody might be handing you an amendment that's coming up next, and you miss the number of the amendment that they just called.
Right.
And you may have a mental note that you're
Yeah.
voting against a particular amendment. Make sure that your boss know which amendment they say.
Right.
Because sometimes you vote on it.
Yeah.
You can make
Yeah.
a mistake
You
on a
can.
vote.
You can.
And so sometimes you hear people changing their votes. It don't always be to go on the prevailing or the on the other side. 90% of the time it's that, but the other 10% of the time it's that they just wasn't paying attention and voted the wrong way from how they originally intended to vote.
That happens.
They weren't paying attention.
Right. That happens. And that's why I was glad when you said earlier that people don't know what's happening on the floor of the Senate. They only see the camera, maybe. Let's say they see the camera and the Senate president, but they don't know what's happening. That somebody could be, like, for example, when I said that Senator Milton Potter turned to me, I was talking to me about a 30-day amendment. That happens. We're talking. He's telling me his view. So sometimes people say, "Oh, you guys need to just move ahead and vote on something." No, there's a lot going on. You don't know. Yeah,
a lot of papers that be coming, and you just be.
And that's another thing. All those papers that they. That's a headache for me as an attorney. It's like you bring in all these papers, you're putting them all out. But the organization. Oh no, I can't stand it.
I have two different personalities that I work with though, because
that's
like
true. That's
Jana
true.
when I worked with Jana for 4 years, all those papers used to make her crazy.
It'll make me crazy.
Right? Senator Joseph, he's just like, okay, it's there. You get me? And he's confident that I'm going to get. all of those papers is just,
Drive me
just
crazy.
like a
I'm like Donna.
different-
I'm like Donna.
yeah, like
Oh geez.
let's discuss everything. You know, there's different personalities on the floor at certain times, so
Yeah.
there's like so much going on.
That's why staff is important.
Yeah, and so you know, and you're sitting behind there, and sometimes, especially if you have a non-germane bill and you have a non-germane amendment that isn't speaking to anything that's on the agenda that day, and you have to go pull up a section of the Virgin Islands Code.
Yes,
And
right.
sometimes you have to do it in, people don't realize that a vote takes 2 minutes.
That's right.
And sometimes the internet don't be cooperating as fast as you need it to be cooperating with to figure out whether or not, you know, but Dwayne DeGraff has a good strategy. He don't object.
He objects, yeah.
Because that gives you 2 minutes time.
it does.
Well, at minimum, it gives staff like 4 minutes to be able to, because you know each side get 2 minutes to debate, so you get a little minute to be able to figure out what's going on. But a lot of times when you hear an amendment so ordered and that a senator don't want to object, you know, is that it's moving so quickly. You don't have the have the moment to object to it.
The one thing before I leave here today though that I want to say too is that I ran into a elderly couple that I know really well, and they came up to me and they said, Maurice, why aren't you running again? But before I could finish, they said,
wait.
Somebody said something. Why are you laughing?
Oh, Jesus. I was talking, I said, the comic book page said Pee Wee Herman is a flip flopper. I made sure to say that 90% of the time is the flip flopping, but a minor percentage is when you just really don't know. There's sometimes when you really don't know. In his case, I'm not making any excuses.
I no comment.
The man said, "Nah, Pee Wee." I'm not laughing. I'm never laughing at the comic book page. I'm not laughing after them. I'm not laughing.
I want to clarify though. I want to make sure people understand this, right? So they came up to me and they said, "Oh, you're not running again," and you know, a former senator said it was the worst job they ever had in the world. And I said, I don't feel that way about being a senator. I need to express that to people. People think I'm not. No. There are reasons why I'm not running again with respect to my family. It is a sacrifice on your family.
Yeah.
I promised my family that I was not going to run again for public office. And a lot of that stemmed from what happened in 2024. So I need to make that clear to people.
Yeah.
In addition to that, my being an attorney, I just you tell me you spend too much time. My training is that I do want the organization. I don't like the game playing. You know, I'm like, listen, if you put something on my desk and I oppose it, I tell you right away. You know, I don't hide it from you. I go, no, I'm not voting for that. Sorry. So, you know, and sometimes it's like, no, don't tell them right away. And I'm like,
listen, she and Clifford Joseph, I don't know how to tell them anymore. Shush.
Yes.
I don't have.
So my personality really, but I have
Senator Joseph to just be like, the man, I can't support this. I'd be like, dude, you have a bill coming up. You can't be wait till they vote on your bill.
Yeah. But you know, my
doesn't
position is this: if you are only voting on my bill because you want me to vote on your bill, then you're not considering the merits of my bill. But I do want to say this: as a senator, I feel very good about the things that I was able to accomplish in the Senate and the changes that I have seen as a result. You know, and I'm going back to Joseph too. One of the things I like about Joseph is that he actually sees.
Joseph?
Oh, sorry. Yes,
okay.
Clifford Joseph is that he sees the practical application of the law, and that's something that most people don't see. And I'm going to give you an example. I passed a bill. Well, we passed a bill, right? And the governor approved it, where you could now file an affidavit if there's a mortgage that was on the books for a long time. I ran into an attorney the other day who said to me, Maurice, I'm so glad you passed that, because all I had to do rather than try to find a defunct bank. All I had to do was get the person, the mortgage, the borrower. Let me just put it that way, to sign an affidavit. So I saw the result of that. And I will always say this: the Williams Delight Project with the governor of the Virgin Islands, Albert Bryan. I don't care what anybody say. That initiative has changed people's lives. There are people now who have disposable income that they did not have before. Okay, there were people who were paying more than $1,000 a month. It has now become available for them to use for other purposes. We have changed people's lives. You know, the mobile integrated healthcare that's moving and it's doing things. You could say what you want about the Bureau of School Construction. I still think it was a good move, and I will never.
And the people and not to interrupt, but to interrupt. What day was the meeting I had in the building? What day that was?
Thursday.
Okay, that day. Remember, I was with Senator BLA, right?
Yeah.
And I just wanted the legislature, the people to know, staffers in the legislature that actually work. And even though you don't work for a particular senator, when you collaborating, some senators that act like they could own, telling Senator BLA. But Senator BLA is one of them senators that will come and you work collaboratively.
Right.
And he'll come and say, they know that we have a hearing coming up. We postponed that hearing from the 30th to the 13th. And he called and he said, I speak to what he said. I spoke to Clifford about this. Don't forget, make sure that you include this in the invitation letter.
Right.
I was like, we mentioned it or whatever.
Yeah.
And then we got into the discussion about healthcare. Right. And he's putting together a group of the senators and then staffers to be called in. I'm a staffer clearly, and your staffers to call in. Senators that have all of these great ideas, and then the staffers is who to actually sit down together, work it out, and then the senators to go back in the room with themselves, cuss each other out, figure out what they like, what they don't like, come back out, tell the staffers what they need. Then the staffers work together again to make sure that all of the language that your particular senator tells you make it into the final bill. Then when it comes back out, the senators meet again, and then they most of the time they'll be happy with the final product. So that's how that's kind of how it
that's
works,
a good example of what happened with and a tool that I'm happy about, that our revenue. Oh man, good morning. That our revenue generating was when we did the money transmission bill.
Yes.
And then the one that I did with that Senator Clifford Joseph came and asked me to join him on, which was the gross receipts.
Yes.
So I feel really good about being in the Senate. I don't want people to think that I feel bad. I feel really good. I feel that this was a meaningful time in my life where I was able to contribute to the people of the Virgin Islands. My brain is really good. It's excellent. I happen to be one of those people who, people go around and say, oh, he's a great basketball player. He's a great bowler. He's a great whatever. Let's say in athletics, there are people who there. And by the way, there's so many different geniuses. There are like 7 geniuses in terms of where you can excel. Right? You can excel athletically. You can excel intellectually. You can excel musically. Take some people, when we look at the music that they have created in the world, there's film. By the way, Sinners got 16 nominations. I know my son is very excited about that. So I say that to say that we have to really focus on our children and make sure that they're fulfilling their potential. So when I know that I have not exhausted everything that I can offer to the Virgin Islands, I'm going to continue to serve the Virgin Islands.
Just not in this capacity.
Just not in this, but I treasure the relationships I have formed in the Senate, and I will, for the rest of my life, I will. There have been bumps and bruises, but for the most part, I treasure. And I don't want people, when people meet me, oh yeah, you're done with it. No, it's not that. Do not tarnish the institution simply because Marie said I'm not running again. you know, I can put my services to use in other ways.
And family first.
And family, there you go. Thank you.
Family first.
No, yeah.
You know my motto, family over
Yeah.
everything.
Yes. Yes.
I
Exactly.
have gotten up out of meetings in St. Thomas in the middle of markup and been like on a plane because
Yeah.
I got a phone call about my son.
Yes, that's right.
You'll just
that's
have to
right.
fire me. Then
Yes.
I will have no job.
I feel the same way
But
too.
I am a mother first and
Yeah.
foremost, and my
Yeah.
2 boys come before.
And you are an excellent mother.
Oh, well, thank you.
You are.
I don't know that
You are.
Shashamani would agree, but
Shemani, you agree with that though, right? Yes. Yeah. There you go.
but you know, I try. But
Yeah.
I just want to say I'm glad that I think that we needed to come on here and allow people to know that bill number 36 at 0105.
No. And you know I don't know the number.
Sorry,
Somebody
sorry.
needs to send me the number because
36
they got
at
8 and
01.
a 4 in it, I think.
36 at 013.
No,
It's 34. 34. It's 0134.
okay.
36 at 0134.
Okay.
36 at 0134.
Right, yeah, no, it's alive.
It's alive.
It's alive.
You know what the movie said? It's alive. It's
Yeah,
alive.
yeah,
So it's
yeah.
alive and it's moving. Listen, I have never seen anything. I just want these people to know that from now on, I blame the boy or the girl, the man, the woman, whoever is behind this page because I can't unsee Pee Wee. I just cannot.
You can't.
Like now that he said it, I'm seeing it, and I can't unsee it. And look who popped up. Hello, Senator Clifford
No, let me
Joseph.
move on. Go to the mic. Go to the mic.
Hello.
Let me get a message quick.
Uh-huh.
Let the public know that she's still the number 1 person
Uh-huh.
on the bar list.
Okay.
For the
Oh. Listen. Okay. So see when people give me information, I'm going to share it. So Senator Maurice James don't want nobody to know this, right? Y'all know how I feel about intelligence. So why you so humble?
About what?
Your brother always tell people, you know what Jamila scored on her SATs? He'd just always remember that. And I'm like, you remember it from like however much years ago, right?
Wow, for real?
Yeah,
Never
gonna tell you all about my almost near perfect SAT score.
And I know that's a fact. That's why I just want to tell you.
Right? So
Right.
So I'm just how come you tell us that you still hold the Virgin Islands record for the highest score in the Virgin Islands bar exam?
This moving right on. See
the humbleness.
See the humbleness. So that just tells you. And we're joined. With 7 minutes left, my boss gonna pop up and say hello.
Well,
say something.
Say
it's like
something.
this. I was coming up the step and I was listening clearly, and it was talking about family. So my mother had an issue last night, and I promised Jamila to be here this morning.
Yeah, I tell you, come up this morning.
Again, families first.
Yeah.
I mean, when you got good family and
who's your mother again? Tell the people.
Gloria Joseph.
Okay.
So
you have
she
to
had that issue, so I went to take care of her, and of course, we have a meeting too for the party this morning, so I have to do a little.
You have to do a little. So how are you doing?
So when I heard you guys, I said, "Damn, I'm supposed to be there."
Yeah, I tell you come up. Yeah, you needed to come up. So how's everything going?
Everything is going okay. I was on the radio and they explained to people just about what I was speaking today, as far as how the Senate works.
Yeah.
And a lot of people in board don't understand how the Senate works because the Senate get blamed for everything. So when you come, then we already passed a bill, and you gotta go to a different branch of government. So myself like to deliver stuff complete, but this is a different arena now. You know, delivering complete. You got a portion to do, and then it cut off.
Right.
Every other job I had before, you have a chance to make sure you see it from the beginning till the end. This one here is you do the beginning, you set down the framework, and I keep speaking about framework because a lot of our problems need to be set within a framework so it could be done. I mean, you two like to say, and others who are met in the Senate like to say, you can't do all of that, then you're going in the weeds. But sometimes if you don't have a pulse now there to take it to the other level, that's why everybody, you see, even now with this employee running for office, is the same thing. All the promulgation that they're speaking about is because in their self, other members of the Senate who still insecure about what they want to do with this is they want to make sure that they have all these other rules in place all of a sudden. But the good senator always said to herself, we in the legislature don't have no rules either. And we don't do just about what we want when election comes. So when you're asking for rules for everybody else, understand that the rules have to be for us as well.
Right.
Yeah.
That's right.
And that's something
exactly
that you
right.
always talk about on the floor. Fairness.
Yeah.
Fairness. Just have fairness across the board. And now that I have both of you here, and although you come so late and we're not going to be able to delve into this, I think it's important because, you know, everything for the public is, oh, you're doing this for votes. But you guys have been working along, you've been working very closely to resolve, oh, Jesus, I'm going to say the wrong name, and this is Joseph on Red Brick, not Red Brick. LBJ Gardens.
Yes.
Because both of you are very passionate about not making those homeowners renters, and you're working very closely to
renters or borrowers.
Or borrowers.
Yeah,
Yes,
you don't
sorry.
need to go back into a mortgage that are already complete.
Oh,
That's right.
Okay, I keep yes, and so we are working. We working on legislation. Senator Maurice James and Senator Joseph, though, I think I've gotten Senator Joseph to the point where I'm like, listen, if you need a little bit of amendments, let's just get it heard and get some amendments. Senator Maurice James and the attorney and her, they'll be like, Jamila,
It needs to be right.
it needs to be, we need a little, let's put something else here so they can't say, and I'll be like, okay, I didn't even think about that. But we're working on that measure, and
here we are.
It is with hopes that it will be on the agenda, the legislative agenda for the session that's probably going to be held in March. So for the people at the LBJ Gardens know that these two senators have been working behind the scenes to make sure that the folks at LBJ Gardens don't become renters or borrowers. And you know, and that's very, very important. And so we wanted to talk about, I wanted to mention that.
Yeah.
And then Senator Joseph, you have the remote workers bill that Senator James has indicated that she wants to come on.
Yeah.
And
that one is a great bill. I mean, we need to get that moving.
Because we need to get more of our people here.
Right.
Just like how individuals come here to work remotely from the state, they come in here. We're supposed to be able to stay here and do the same.
Yes.
And I'm contributing to our government because a lot of times, again, because of the same bill with the gross receipt tax, we shifting the narrative, because always when individuals leave here and go out and make money in a different state, they've been paying their fair share to that government, wherever it is, to that state. So now here it is that we have the same opportunity here now, that when you come in here to work, that you're gonna pay your fair share of taxes. That's about it.
All right.
Yep.
And time is being called. And let me ask you this: you like working with Jamila?
Oh,
she had to work with. Just joking.
I have not met an employee that was hard to work with yet. You know what I mean? I tell you, that's me. I mean,
such a good answer.
when people, that's what my years in the fire service, that's why I hear all the time, even if I'm the telephone company, oh, you can work with this, you know, like.
So you know he to get backlash for working with me, right?
But at the end of the day, people discredit people for what it is. But sometimes when you put somebody else in a real uncomfortable position, they just being a portion of the self. But around me, I want to make sure I like standard, just like I like fairness. So I'll get it. The employee who feel that way when I first come on board is to let you know, hey, what's the issue that you're having? And if you could open up to let me know the issues, we could try and fix it. If you don't want to open up, you end up losing your job.
That's something we share in common.
Yes.
Fixing things.
Yes.
We know I am the same way. I want to close. I'm a closer. I'm a fixer. He's the same way.
I feel the same way.
Yeah.
If you give me a job to install or repair, I like to be on the repairing end, because I know I want to learn how to install it, but I want to make sure I know how to repair it, because there were going to be a lot more repairs than there going to be more installation. So let's be right.
I agree.
Thank you, Nadia. You're good people too. And I was just joking, because you know I know that and both of you are registered and you run under the Democratic Party banner. And I know that sometimes your affiliation with me can be problematic to those less than 100 in the circle. But I just want everybody to know that the work that the legislature does, the work, Senator Joseph came up to me, came off the floor the other day, and he was like, listen, we need to be able to take a portion. He said, you need to do this research, file this bill request before anybody come up with this. We need to take a portion of whatever savings that we have with the GRT. And we need to figure out how we could provide a stipend, not just to government retirees, but to our seniors all across the board, whether you worked in government, didn't work for government, and all of that. I said, you really want me to do research on that for like now? he was like, well, in me putting up pressure, this is, he said, me putting up pressure on you, but just file it, and when you get some information, let we talk about it. Right. But he said, like, before fair. So he don't apply no direct pressure, but this is the kind of stuff that he'd come up with. And so I just want to say thank you guys for all of this. And and to the people of the Virgin Islands, and those of you who are interested in working as a government employee who would want to run for election, please be advised that the bill is still alive. It will be heard at the next session. It probably may not, thinking you may, I don't know if it'll pass, but the timeline may not be in time for 2026 because of regulations and filing and all of that. But know that the law will be in the book. So even if it doesn't work for 2026, it'll be available for 2028. I love you guys. Final thoughts. Looking forward to the Governor's State of the Territory address on Monday. Yes, no?
Definitely.
All right. On that note, the governor gives his final State of the Territory address on Monday. And on Saturday, the governor of the Virgin Islands will be here with me from 8 o'clock to 10 o'clock. He's booked for the full 2 hours. I forget to tell you, Jen. He's booked for the full 2 hours. So next week, Saturday, tune in. It will be on my Facebook page. However, it will not remain on the Facebook page. You have to like, subscribe, and follow me on the YouTube channel so they're able to see it. All right. Until then, bye-bye.
Bye.
Let me end this end stream.